Hello, hello, hello. I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on Periscope and Facebook. Hey, y'all. It's always such a pleasure to come on. I love social media. If you know me, you're like, Tosh, you live on the internet. Yes, when I am no longer walking and talking in this body, I plan to upload my mind to the internet. That is my general ambition, and I'd love to know who else is on board with me. But hello, hello, hello. Good morning if it's morning time where you are. Good afternoon if it's afternoon time. Good evening if it's evening time for you. My name is Natasha Nurse. I am so excited to be here. I am the founder, the creator, the brain, the content creator behind Dressing Room 8, which is a coaching platform designed to help women, really focusing on women who are interested in and focusing on treating their minds, their careers, their mindset, how they live, finding their purpose, establishing their purpose, and just living their truth. And every month I like to get on here and I like to do a book club. So this month I got the book on Kindle version. So we're going to be talking about how to live a life full of glitter. That's by Anna OBrien, I believe. And she's amazing. She's a really, really fantastic social media star. She's like 6+ million people on TikTok, millions, I believe, on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook. She's just like everywhere and everything. And she's also just like a really just awesome gal. Like I really adore her. So really excited to talk to you a little bit about my thoughts about her book and how I think it could benefit you if you wanted to pick it up and read it. So if you are like, well, where do I get the book? You can go to dressingroom8.com to get the book. Here on YouTube, I can show you that banner. And that way you guys can pick it up and start reading. And for those of you who've already read the book, feel free to join in on the conversation and share your thoughts. I love conversations. I don't want to talk at you, I want to talk with you. So feel free to add your thoughts and your comments. All right. So with that, it is time. We can get started. Hello, hello, hello. Natasha Nurse, Dressing Room 8, monthly book club. Let's get in. So it's a really quick read, again, just for anyone who's like, well, wait a minute, what are we reading? So we are reading a book called A Life Full of Glitter by Anna OBrien. She is a social media guru. She is just an amazing, I think, body positive movement in and of herself, because she shows you that you can live your truth at any size. And I think that that's really important, similar to how people love they love Lizzo, right? I think that Anna OBrien, I think her name that she goes by is like Glitter and Lasers. I believe that's the case. Yes. I think, does she have it on the cover? She doesn't, but oh yes, Glitter and Lasers. And she's amazing, guys. So with that, let's get started. Let's get into the different book. I have the contents here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I think the best thing for me to do is, so you get a little bit of an understanding, greater understanding of what the book is all about, just kind of give you my summary as to what each chapter meant to me, what I thought, how I interpreted it. We'll take it from there. Now, I do want to preface the conversation by saying that I generally am reading a lot. I think I've read up to 52 books at this point of the year. I have another 50, 60 books to go, if not more. And so I'm constantly reading, constantly trying to put more in the noggin, right? And so for me, mindset is definitely not a new concept. It's something that I'm constantly thinking about. I'll talk about it with friends. I'll talk about it with family members. So it's something that is very prevalent in my life. And I think what this book could do for you, if you aren't necessarily always thinking about mindset, if you aren't always thinking about how to improve the noggin, how to improve your approach, then this book will you'll have some like awakening moments for yourself. For someone like myself who's constantly in this space, not as many boofs, but I enjoyed it because I think it was a simple, direct approach to, this is my story. These are the concepts that I've dealt with. These are the struggles I've dealt with. This is how I'm going to overcome it, and how you can also decide to overcome it yourself. So that's what I loved about it. The book has 12 chapters, then plus the intro, conclusion, acknowledgments. And in chapter 1, the benefits of a more positive life. So in that chapter, she's just talking about the basics, right? Which is Positivity will serve you more than negativity ever will. Too many people focus on what? All the things that they hope won't happen, all the things to worry about, all the things to be stressed about. Who has that? Has that ever helped anyone here on YouTube, on Periscope, on Facebook? No, right? It definitely hasn't helped me. So I appreciated her candor about kind of the lack of outcomes that you're going to achieve when you focus on the negative, when you focus on not being as positive as possible. And she does go through, you know, being positive and being a more positive person and an optimistic person isn't about putting your head in the sand, which I hate that phrase. People have said that to me, or being naive, or being not pragmatic or realistic. That's nonsense. You can be a pragmatic, realistic person and be a positive person. Talk to Oprah if you don't believe me, right? Like, get a grip. So I like that she also broke that out for people, because some people think, well, if I have to be a positive person, I can't be positive all the time. Well, yes, you can be. That's a choice. But the thing about positivity is about seeing the positivity in all options and challenges and obstacles that you face. It's not about just saying, well, I'm going to have and achieve a positive moment in my life at this time. No, that's not what this is about. So if that's clear to you, we can go to the next one. Chapter 2, identity, realizing you're different and becoming self-aware. Super important, right? If you want a life filled with glitter, then you've got to accept your beautiful, perfect self as is. Yes, I said perfect. Now, perfection is a fiction, right? But perfection is also a concept. It's a construct. And if you love yourself today, then that is what is necessary for creating the type of life that you want to live. If you can love yourself every day, you've won. You have won. Do you understand? You are winning if you can just love yourself. If you can understand, who are you? What are your wants? What are your needs? That's the type of thing that is necessary to have a life filled with glitter, to have success, to be able to measure the success that you want in your life. So she talks about that through the lens of identity. And who do you identify as, right? If you're as a plus size woman, she talks about her narrative and her struggle with being people imparting to her onto her life, whether it's a family member, whether it's people in society, like what you should look like, what you should be eating, all this stuff. And as you get older, you realize life is what you make of it, meaning it's what you decide to consume. It's what you decide to do. It's who you decide to spend time with. And you take it from there. And it's all about intentionality. If you're intentional about who you are, if you're intentional about what you do in this world and what you say and the impact you leave, winning. Chapter 3, comparison, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Must I say more? All right. Find out more there. Chapter 4, self-love, acknowledging your worth. Super important. I talk to my friend and my hubby about this all the time, because ultimately self-worth is everything, right? How can you ever love how can you love the life you live? How can you ever expect anyone to love you if you refuse to love yourself? Self-love is absolutely key. And I'm grateful because I have a husband, and he's my best friend, and he's the person who helps me actualize that. And really, if I step away and I depart from being my best self and saying kind and empowering words about myself, he forces me to be a better person for me, not for him, not for anyone else, but for me, to say, wait a minute, why are we talking nonsense about ourselves? It's illogical. It's not going to help anything. And it's definitely not going to make you feel good. So self-worth is definitely a part of a life filled with glitter. It's a part of being successful. It's a part of enjoying who you are, what you do. Must I go on? All right, guys. So there's that. Chapter 5, she goes through self-compassion, reframing negative self-talk. Super important. That, I think, was a critical chapter, because I think that negative talk is something we're all plagued with. I could not sit here and tell you, oh, I never say anything negative about myself or anything I do. Nonsense. Our brains are hardwired to be negative. And who's the first recipient of that negativity? Ding dong, you. So, of course, we have to acknowledge this, right? For us to have that life filled with glitter, we have to acknowledge it. And then we have to also reframe it, right? Instead of saying the negative trash talk that comes out of our mouths, how else could you say it? What are the steps to take to reframe that narrative? So I think that was a critical chapter for going through that. So definitely would check that out. Chapter 6, bullying, overcoming bullies and naysayers. Who here has been bullied? Who here has been a bully, right? Hurt people hurt people. It's a simple phrase, and it speaks to the volume and the the atrocities that we face as a person of color, as a woman. Of course, I sit here and I tell you, I hurt. This week alone, I hurt from people who refuse to get out of their own lens of nonsense and like entitlement and privilege to see past their own negativity and to see how they could be hurting others. So I tell you, I live this to the T, and I know you do too, because you're a human being, and to be human means you have hurt and you'd hurt. And it's all intentional, so we all have to be better. We can be better. It's totally an option that's available to us, but it takes time, and it takes time reading, getting things in the noggin, guys, and really getting to the root of why we hurt and why we impart harm to others, and then also getting to the root of why others are doing that to us. And maybe that's not always possible, but we can start asking the questions. We can start having those uncomfortable conversations to get there, and to get to the place where we can maybe 200 years from now say, oh my gosh, children's only experience with bullying would be in textbooks, right? They'd learn about it for Safety Month, or things like that. And that would be wonderful. That would be remarkable. Obviously, I won't be here because, like I said, I'll upload my brain to the internet so I can be one with the internet and live my truth out for eternity. But I would like to think of my ancestors and people that come after me in this world, that they do not have to suffer the way that people in my generation did, the way that I did, the way that the ones who came before me suffered, because it's a hurt that hurts too much, and it's too much to bear, and it's unnecessary, and we have to think about this more now than ever. Yes, I know we're dealing with a pandemic. Yes, I know we're dealing with civil unrest and racial tensions at an all-time high that it hasn't been in several decades, right? But we're here, and we all play a role in making this world a better place. And the more that we can all get on board with that, the more that we can move beyond the protests into the houses of institutions that need reshuffling and realignment, into the minds of those who continue to hate, who continue to persecute based on bias, based on hatred in their heart and their minds, right? There's a lot going on. So there's that. Chapter 7, goals, creating a cause for self-celebration. Yes, love that chapter, because I'm a huge advocate. And again, for those joining in, I'm talking about A Life Filled with Glitter by Anna OBrien. She's a social media guru star, and she wrote a book. I believe it was published last year, and I was like, oh, I'm going to add that to my book club. Made sure we either last year or 2018, one of the two, and it was I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great read. I'm just kind of going through the contents and talking a little bit about the chapters so that you get a little bit of a clue as to why should you read this book. You should read this book because unless you have a life filled with glitter, y'all need to learn. Put something in your noggin and get it together. Yes, I can't stop saying noggins. I'm just going to continue to say that. That's just going to be the word for today. So I'll just tell Khalil, my hubby, and you'll say, all right, cool. So that's where we're at with that. But creating goals, creating a cause for self-celebration. We have to celebrate. You do not understand how many things there are to celebrate. I say this because people complain too much. And if you woke up, celebrate. Did you say thank you, universe? Thank you, God, whatever, whoever, whatever you think. Thank you for waking up. I have been in such pain for just, various reasons this week. I was able to walk, and I haven't been able to walk around, go and do my daily walks and all that good stuff for a couple of days. I'm so blessed to say today I did. Today is a win. That's a celebration. I'm here with you right now. We're having a conversation about a book I read. I accomplished something and took the opportunity to help impart knowledge to others. Win. Celebrate that. I'm going to spend the day with people that I adore and love and enjoy. Win. Celebrate. I'm going to be able to take care of my health. Win. Celebrate. There are so many things to celebrate every single day. I'm sick and tired of people complaining. I know that the world is not perfect. I know that there's a lot of atrocity that is happening on a daily basis, but there's also a lot to be grateful for. And, if you are a practitioner of the law of attraction, you understand that for you to have more things to celebrate, you have to celebrate what you have now. right? It's a gratitude thing. How can you ever get more if you refuse to be grateful for what you have? Think about that. That's illogical. So celebrate. Yes. Protest. Share your voice. Fight injustice. But please, please, please do not forget to wake up every day and spend time celebrating the joys of what you have. If you woke up, you won. First off, you won. The day is golden. And anything on top of that, icing on the cake. I had a horrible week, y'all. Horrible, 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 horrible. I'm so blessed that I'm alive today to have that behind me to move on to another day. We can all celebrate. I don't care what garbage you're living through. I don't care because we have it. Yes, hubby's on it. See, he's watching. I'm grateful for you, Khalil. He shared the book. Thank you, thank you, thank you, hubby. Absolutely. A life full of glitter. Get the book and get your life together. That's what I say about that. Chapter 8, loneliness. What to do when you feel alone. This is a good one. This is a very, very good one. A lot of people struggle with loneliness, right? Have you ever felt lonely? I tell my friends and my family all the time, and I don't have a lot of friends. I have like a couple. I tell them all the time, like how grateful I am for the people that do listen to me, that do spend time with me, because I grew up in a way where unless I spoke to someone, no one spoke to me. So like I can't count how many lunches by myself. I can't count how many times, I'm checking in and I'm feeding into others and it doesn't revert back to me, right? And that's okay, because I have come to the realization that I think in life, strong people or people who are perceived to be strong are like, oh, you don't need checking in. You don't need support, right? Because you're just like warrior status. No one you don't need that. But guys, all people need love, right? And for those that feed love into you, take the time to feed love back into them. It's a give-take relationship always. I don't care how strong like warrior they are. Give them love. Tell them something that they did that made you feel special. Tell them why they are important to this world. Everyone needs to hear why they matter, right? It's not enough to just receive. We have to give back and feed into those who feed into us. All right. So, we have to think about loneliness as well from a mental health perspective, right? We have so many people struggling right now because of the pandemic, because people aren't able to connect with people how they normally do. People are really struggling. So the concept and the idea of loneliness is very paramount now. And it's hard, right? I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. I think that the things that I can tell you what I've done. If I've ever felt lonely, which definitely happens, I try to identify why, like what exactly was the thing or the person around me that is causing that trigger for me of that loneliness feeling, and then get into solution solving mode, right? What would make me feel less lonely? So do I go bother the husband? Do I go text a friend? Do I create content? Do I go swimming? Do I spend time with the dog? Like, what are things that you love that will instantly break you out of that loneliness narrative? I think that's something that's always really worked well for me, and not wallow. I think some of the things I've witnessed people love to do is if they are feeling lonely, they're like, well, I'm just going to be lonely all day. And that day is just going to turn into a week, and that week's going to turn into a month. And I get it, right? If you suffer from depression or other kind of mental health concerns, it's not as easy as just like get up and just pick yourself up. But I do think from a loneliness perspective, it's just loneliness. It's not necessarily attached to other type of mental health concerns. Typically, I have found getting into a mode of like action mode of like, well, what would make you feel less lonely? For me, always the hubby. Go and I love to like bother him and like tickle him or say something crazy to him where it's like, okay, instantly we're going to be talking, we're going to be doing something. So I'm not going to be lonely because I'm going to be engaging with him. If he's not available, which is a very rare occasion, then there's Pooch. There's always the dog, right? Animals, that's why I always advocate to people, get a dog, get a cat. This is unconditional love that's with you, that will always heal you. And it never ends. Even when they're evil. I have an evil cat and I can still be like, hello, Toby, and eventually get smacked up for being too loving. But again, it breaks that loneliness narrative, right? It gets me out of my head and it gets me into doing something. So I would just recommend action, but she has some things and thoughts that you should definitely check out. Life Full of Glitter, Khalil shared it with y'all. Now, chapter 9, body, loving the skin you're in. Woo, right? as a plus size social media influencer and body advocate, she has a lot to share on this, right? And a lot of really good advice. I would say my 2 cents on the matter is the minute that I stopped hating my body, the happier I was. And I realized it was a choice, right? Because yeah, you can get angry at every dimple. You can get angry at cellulite. You can get angry at stretch marks. You can get angry at like, you know, why does this skin do this? Why is this looking this way? Oh, the hair's not looking right on this. And right now I'm loving my Mufasa mane. She's living her best life today. I feel like some type of royalty queen who's about to go jump in the pool. So I'm feeling myself today, right now at this moment. But am I feeling myself every moment of the day? Of course not, right? I'm a human being like anyone else. But again, similar to my advice about loneliness, it's cut the narrative. You have a role in saying, well, what would make you feel good? For me, beauty is a big part. I'm not a beauty expert at all. I taught myself how to put on makeup, and I'm sure I'm not doing it the best ability, but I like what I do. I think I enjoy the look and the outcomes that I achieve. And beauty armor, I call this face armor. It forces me to be like, girl, right? Like, even if you're not feeling well, just you put it on and it's face armor, and you can't be mad at yourself when you look good with like great eyeshadow and a great lip color. Like, girl, you looking good, you better work. Right? So it forces you to empower yourself. So I'm a huge fan of wearing makeup, huge fan of like putting on or jewelry, right? Like wearing pieces and things that just get you, again, cuts the narrative of like, I don't feel good. Well, wear something that makes you feel good. Put on your face armor, right? Do something with your hair. Get into that action mode. The act of acting is going to cut the narrative of the mental stagnation that we can all live in. We can be a sloth in our emotions all day, every day. Get over it, right? If you want to feel better, you have to do something to feel better. You cannot just think it and say, well, no. You either do or you don't. So get to the acting, guys. But Anna OBrien has thoughts on it, so get the book and check it out. Now, chapter 10, challenges stress and other no good, rotten things. Stress will kill you. I mean, a big part of why me and the hubby moved to Arizona is because we found New York to be hella stressful. We were like, okay, this is different. We're both from born and raised in New York, and we've had enough, right? And I talk about it over and over. And I know people are like, stop talking smack about New York. I'm not talking smack about New York. What I am talking about is our identity and our story. And I'm trying to influence and help people get to the point where they realize, you know what? It's okay to make a change. You know what? This isn't working for me. Because if I can help one person actualize a dream and change the scenario in their life, win, right? That's just all I feel a part of my life mission is to help produce content and create an atmosphere of safeness for people to live their truth and to live who they want to be in this world and to make drastic changes. Because for you to have transformation, you have to change your mindset and you have to change your life. And that is a drastic change. To change your life is drastic. So, to be a change agent is a part of my life purpose. And so I encourage you, if you are living in a stressful situation, to identify the triggers. What and who are the people messing and mucking things up? And they have got to go. And if I got time for the nonsense. Your life, you're here for a minute, guys. It's a blink of an eye, and then we're off the planet. So don't waste a single second on stress. What can you do today to de-stress and de-escalate the nonsense that you're dealing with? She has some great tips. I leave you to get the book, dressingroom8.com. Go get the book, and we can talk about it. All right? Absolutely. So chapter 11, relationships, friends, family, and lovers. We'll just leave it at that. No, a quick word. I would say ultimately it's really important for you to be super strategic about the people you have in your life. Had I not met my husband, I wouldn't probably be here today. Having a person in your life that is reliable, that can motivate you to be your best self, that will challenge you in the best ways is everything, right? So whether that person fits that role for you romantically, whether that's a friend, whether that's a mentor, whether that is someone you work with, it's really critical to be in situations in your life where you have the right type of people around you to give you, because again, we take cues from each other subconsciously and consciously. So we have to create these ecosystems for us to live in, to thrive, right? And so yes, it matters the type of job you get. Yes, it matters the person you marry. Yes, it matters who are your friends. Yes, it matters how you spend time and who you spend time with in your family. Yes, yes, yes. Strategy all around is how you create that ecosystem of thriving and success for yourself. So when you get that and you don't keep fighting people like moi out here telling y'all this, then you're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Yes, baby. That's what I was talking about. ¿Tú entiendes? Like, you get it, right? Okay, wonderful. Now, chapter 12, I'm sorry, you can't be perfect. Yeah, perfection. Another thing, another wonderful realization I had in my life. The Virgo, shout out to all my Virgos, you know, before you know it, September, end of August, September will be coming up in here and we will reign. And it's obviously the month, the same sign of Queen Bee. So we know that this royalty that comes with being Virgo. Shout out to Beyonce. I love you, baby. You are the queen that we all should be in our lives and on the stage, right? And ultimately, perfection is something that some parents, I definitely grew up in a household with a parent who was like, be perfect. And even when you're perfect, do more, right? Never enough narrative. Cut it out. Cut it out. Find your special spot of where you want in your life, with your friends, in your career, with your creativity. It's not about perfection. It's about getting to points of comfortability. And then what? And then challenging yourself to go a bit more, right? Oh, I can paint with oils. Well, have you done this? Have you done, right? Like that's what we're here for, guys. It's not about I've reached a level of perfection, because guess what? It doesn't exist. So you will ruin your life chasing after something that doesn't exist. Makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. So with that, we're pretty much winding down. I think what I'd love to do is, again, give you the information. So Khalil here on Facebook put the title, A Life Full of Glitter, A Guide to Positive Thinking, Self-Acceptance, and Finding Your Sparkle in a Sometimes Negative World by Anna OBrien. She also goes by Glitter and Lasers. Guys, you can go to dressingroom8.com, get the book. It'll take you to Amazon. You'll be able to get the Kindle and whatever other version it comes in. Now, I think another thing you might be thinking, well, Tosh, what are we reading for July? Because this book was like hella empowering, right? Yeah, it was. You know I'm legit. Now, this is what we're doing for July. So, or is this? Yes, July. I'm trying to keep track of the months. Speak with impact. Who here is a speaker? Who here wants to be a speaker? Who here wants to speak with impact? Y'all know where you need to be. Then you need to come for the July Dressing Room 8 Book Club meeting. I told you I come here once a month. If I don't do this, it would be because I'm doing it on TV or somewhere else or some other form. But my goal is to always be reading a minimum of one book a month. But my goal this year is 120 books for the year. So your girl is reading the noggin. I told you, can't stop saying it. You love it. You love it. You love it. You love it. So thank you for coming on and joining me. Thank you for everyone here on YouTube, on Periscope, on Facebook. I adore you. I love you. If you want to learn how to speak with impact, then you will be joining me for the July Dressing Room 8 Book Club meeting. And you can get all those details at dressingroom8.com. And if you're like, well, what else should I do? Well, once you go to the website, guys, there's a lot. Subscribe to the blog. Subscribe to my monthly newsletter. I put out monthly newsletters with just some key tips and wisdom monthly. Y'all can read something once a month. Don't play me. And then, of course, I said that it's a coaching platform. So if you are like, oh, I'm thinking about, starting a business or I want to work through some personal, thing. Oh, I'm struggling with feeling more confident. I'm struggling with putting together a look for myself, right? Whatever the kind of barriers that you're facing as a woman in your career with your creativity, I can help you. I can help you. Can do a free session, strategy session. You'll enjoy it. You're like, girl, that was everything. That was like my life. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. So keep reading, keep enhancing the noggin, keep thinking about the things that matter most, because you and I and we all deserve a life filled with glitter. Thank you for joining. I'm going to say bye now on each of the platforms. So goodbye on YouTube. Y'all rock. All righty.